Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 379 of the Massenomics podcast. We are Marshall. No, we are the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy. Tanner, the answer is no. I have not seen it, so.
How did you know that was next?
just saving time there, getting ahead of you.
Okay. So you didn't really get the reference, but you knew the reference still?
Yeah,
or?
Is that basketball? Is that what that one is?
I think that's football.
Oh, football.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was a sport movie.
I don't know that I feel like I've seen it. It's is that Matthew McConaughey?
I don't know.
I feel like maybe I haven't seen it then. I guess because I know so little about it. I just remember the scene like they chant like "We are Marshall." I don't even really know the significance of why they're doing that, so I probably haven't seen it.
Okay, so I'm not alone here.
Yeah.
Actually, also, speaking of Matthew McConaughey, did you listen? I know you listened to the Lex Friedman podcast. Did you listen to the one with him on there?
No, is that newer? Or?
It was probably 2 or 3 weeks. Probably 2 weeks ago.
No, I'd be curious. Never
have I more been like, we both speak the same language, but we don't speak the same language at all.
Was he like? Was he like a meme of himself of like what you would think he's doing? Yeah,
and it's also funny. I didn't realize. I saw this on the internet the other day. It was talking about his scene in Wolf of Wall Street, when he's taking him through. It's a woozy, it's a wazzy, it's a and he's doing that whole thing. I didn't realize that like huge chunks of that scene are improvised. Like that's just him doing his thing.
Yeah.
And there's multiple times while he's talking in that interview where he's literally saying the same things and he's going and like he's using the same words and like, oh my God, that really was improvised. Like that is how this guy talks. Like he uses those same type of words.
That's like his thing. Yeah.
But
it's probably done that before in life or in conversation, and he's like, oh yeah, this would fit here.
So that's probably an entertaining listen if you get on.
Is he into weird politics stuff now? And
I don't know if he is. Like
they talk about that stuff.
They just mentioned like, oh, you thought about running, and he goes, yeah, I thought about it really hard, and that's about all the farther they really got into the. I got away from that thinking I have no idea what his policy is or where he stands on anything. I have no idea.
Okay, good. I might be interested in listening.
Yeah, they didn't talk about anything from.
Okay.
And that was maybe 5 minutes of the entire thing.
Are you a fan of the Lex Friedman podcast?
So far I have been actually. There's some people that are really hard to listen to. Like they get really,
I agree. Some that I'll start listening to, I'm like, nope, I can't do it.
Like when they start going way in depth on math and things like that.
Yeah.
Like formulas.
Because he's pretty smart, and then he has people on that are like ultra smart.
That would be my biggest knock to it. Would be just sometimes the math people get like hacker computer stuff get way too far into computer science world, and I don't know what they're talking about
for any average person.
For anyone,
really, honestly,
like they get going way too far. And then the other one is. I feel like the question comes up, or it's like a 30-minute conversation on every single episode is just, so how will you feel when you're replaced by AI? Like that comes up and I'm like, this is just a recurring thing that goes, and some people, I don't mind it because
the way you spoke into the microphone reminded me of the way that Lex speaks actually.
It's just, it'll be like having some other conversation that will come in out of nowhere.
Yeah. I want to just further linger on that a little bit. Every episode he says I want to linger on that.
If you don't mind, can we linger on that for a little bit? Yeah. But so like that's going to come up at some point. And some people, I think they have really good insightful things because like this is their life. And other people are like, yeah, well, there'll be a bunch
like
of
asking me.
Yeah. And it's like I don't know if this person
why
really.
do you even want my opinion on that?
I don't know if this person has anything insightful to add. And then he goes, so will it make you jealous when your AI is better than you? Like when your family wants to spend more time with your AI, how will you handle that? And he's like, okay, man. Like this comes up with every single person. Maybe that's good. I don't know. But some of those I get to know. Some people, really don't have anything to add.
On our podcast, we would never repeat topics or themes.
And we would never ask someone the same
thing.
question. No, like that's strictly against our rules. We don't believe in that at all here.
This is episode 379, and you know why that's important, don't you, Tommy?
It's your football number plus 300.
Plus 300. See, you do know why it's important. It's my high school football number plus 300. So it's very this episode.
It's your high school football number plus your favorite movie from high school added together, right?
Yes, 379. Yeah, I was talking with my son today in the vehicle, something about the podcast, and I was like, yeah, this is, we've done it every single week for 378 weeks. And he goes, that's more days than there are days in a year. And like, it's not particularly, it doesn't mean anything, but it is just a funny thought. I'm like, yes, like one entire year's of days, we've done more than that many episodes.
If we stopped making episodes right now and you said, I'm going to get into this, and you listen to an episode every single day, you would not be caught up in a year. That is really funny to think about.
Yes. I thought that was an interesting 10,000 foot take of it. As you step back and look at it, I'm like, you're wise beyond your years, son.
Oh, these kids coming in with their innocent, fresh takes on everything over here.
Yeah, and I'm like, quit all that damn book learning at school before you get smarter than I am.
Off to the factory with you.
Yeah, I'll be the only paterfamilias around here. 379. We got a banger of an episode this week. A very much banger. We got a third woman guest in the row. This is a new. We've done 379 episodes, but this is a first. 3 consecutive weeks where our featured guest is a woman, so that's exciting. We got a real big streak going on with that, so I'm interested in that.
It's making me way better at talking to my wife. I go weeks without talking to her, but
we can communicate now.
Talk to females, I'm learning how to talk to my wife now.
Yeah, this will be like our 3rd hour of talking to a woman in the last 3 weeks.
3 more hours than a normal month. So
we got a little update on the Jefferson deadlift competition. Then just a whole bunch of topics, honestly. So we'll get to all of that. But first, I want to let you all know about one of our sponsors. One of our highlighted sponsors this week is Spud Inc. You can check them out over at spud-inc-straps. I want to see if any of these sales that they have going on still apply. It might while you're listening. So they do have they had a 4th of July sale going where the promo code was July 20. That was 20% off store-wide. There's a few exclusions of that, but otherwise 20% store-wide. So check at least discount code July 20, see if that's still active when you hear this at Spud Inc. Because if it is, you could take advantage on that on a whole bunch of products. If you're a home gym person and you don't have a pulley set up, check out their Econo pulley setup and handles. Really affordable and works pretty decently. And at that price, you almost can't say no to it if you put pencil to paper. Check out the bow tie, and then, of course, wrap straps, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, and belts. Just about everything you can stuff in a big gym bag you can find at Spud Inc. All orders $75 or more receive free shipping within the domestic U.S. So head over to Spud Inc. Let them know your good buddies at Massenomics sent you.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. If you're a listener of this show, you're very familiar and versed with the history of Texas Power Bars. But did you know there is now a 29 millimeter bar? That's right. They've listened to the demands of the customers, and they've come in with a 29 millimeter power bar. And you say, wow, that sounds amazing, but how can this get any better? Well, they're currently on sale right now. Tanner, did you know that? I think you did know that.
I do know that, as a matter of fact.
I think you know firsthand.
Yeah.
So right now they are running, and it might be done by the time you're hearing this. If they're not, you should hop on there right away and check. But $35 off all bars, which for a lot of these bars is more than 10% off. That's a pretty good deal.
Yes.
So if you're interested in a Texas Power Bar or their brand new 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar, you can get that one for $280 right now. That's a steal for a bar like that. And it's got all the classics.
You'll be lucky if you do not get arrested for stealing if you buy that bar at that price. I would not do it if there's police around.
Yeah, you might have to lay low for a while.
Yeah,
do the Grand Theft Auto thing where you repaint your car just to get the cops off your trail.
Yes.
But I highly recommend you hop on to Texas Power Bars, take advantage of that deal, get in there, experience the Texas Power Bar difference. What everyone at the Massenomics gym loves about these things. So if you want to see one for yourself, TexasPowerBars.com.
as long as we're talking about Texas Power Bars, that ends the ad. But this is just more talk on Texas Power Bars.
This is organic content now.
This is organic. They're getting this for free. They paid for that last thing. This is on the house. I did order a new 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar for the gym. Someone tipped me off on this. Well, I guess I even got the email about the sale, and I had thought about it. And someone else mentioned, hey, why don't you buy it now? It is on sale.
Peer pressured into it.
And I was like, yeah, I am going to buy one of those eventually. It is, and I did the math, it is over 10% off. It's not going to be any better deal than that anytime. It does make it under a $300 bar for an awesome bar. So I ordered the 29 millimeter black zinc with chrome sleeves.
Black zinc chrome sleeves. Okay.
Yeah, and that shipped.
Are all the ones we have chrome sleeves right now?
Yeah, go with the chrome sleeves on the Texas Power Bars. I don't really know why you wouldn't.
That's the preferred look over the
Bear
Steel.
But I did go back and forth on the shaft between Bear Steel and Black Zinc. I don't know that there's a wrong answer there. Depends on your personal preferences. I just like the Black Zinc because it's what we have on our other Texas Power Bars, and I like it, honestly.
It looks cool.
What's
the logic for picking chrome over Bear Steel in your opinion?
I think it's like number one, Texas Power Bars does a really good job on their chrome, so it is well done. And number two, it's just more durable. The durability on the sleeves is worth it.
Yeah, because the Bear Steel that can rust, right?
Or easier? It can and will a lot of times, and also it's just like with the plates, it's like the scuffing and like I don't know, the chrome is just a more durable finish for the sleeves.
Yeah.
So
and from our experience, like you said, from our experience, those are great options. Like that bar, we have those finishes, and they're amazing.
Yes.
And when a Texas Power Bar is brand new, they look so... I mean, they always look good, but when they're brand new, you're like, wow, I can't forget that this thing just gets the piss beat out of it, and then it looks a little different. But
yeah, so it's been shipped. So I did have the thought, maybe I save it for the bench at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. The squat will use a squat bar. Yeah, the squat will use a squat bar. The deadlift will use a deadlift bar. But for the bench, we could use the brand new Texas Power Bar, fresh out of the sleeve.
That'd be cool.
But then I don't know if I want all these grease balls fingering up the new Texas Power Bar.
Right. So that's why you're going to put it down in the gym where it's protected.
Yes. Right? So where no grease balls will ever touch that thing. But wait, there's more. And what was the over-under on how many new bars?
Oh, my God, no way. I think the over-under was the over-under 5 or was it 3?
No, I think it was 3.
Oh, my God. And you were past that like a month after we did that. I mean, what?
We came home from the Arnold with like
4.
2 or 3 more bars. Yeah.
I mean, you have to be at like 6 at least right now, aren't you?
Yeah. So there's another one.
What?
I got a first generation, as the timeline goes.
Oh, yes. Okay, I did see actually you write this in there. I forgot about that. Yeah.
First generation Texas Power Bar on the way, obviously through the secondhand market, some black market back channels. I got this really high quality, good shape first generation Texas Power Bar. So it's like the first bars that they
original
made,
piece of history.
Buddy Caps,
that Buddy Caps probably lathed himself.
Ours are what would be called third gen, and then there is a second gen which I don't have yet. But now that I got this first gen, I of course am on the lookout for.
Do you know how long the first gen existed for?
I don't know what the timeline is actually. All this timeline stuff, and actually we don't have that, but we could dig that up. Someone will know that for us.
Okay.
Someone will actually probably hear this conversation right now and then figure it out.
So,
and tell us.
Does the first gen command a premium, or are they still fairly reasonable?
It's depending on. No, it's cheaper than a new one, or it's like about the price of a new one.
Okay,
depending on if it's poor quality, it's going to be cheaper than a new barbell. I spent $200 on this one, and it's in really good shape. Like you could spend you could probably spend $300 on one. I actually got it from a former podcast guest that gave me a fairly good deal on it. It was none other than Big Efren.
Oh, very nice.
If for anyone that hasn't listened to the Big
he just
Efren
knew you might be a guy that's in the market for one and reached out.
Yes. Well, and actually I saw something on his Instagram that he had a whole bunch of stuff for sale. So he sent me his list, and I'm like, I'm particularly interested in that Texas Power Bar that you've got, that first gen. And he's like, well, we could probably work out a deal on that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably on the way too. Wow. So I have 2 more barbells coming before everyone gets here. I I was feeling like we didn't have enough bars at the gym, and I was going to be embarrassed when all these people come.
Well, right, yeah, it would have looked really dumb without like these last 4. People would have like, wait, this is a gym.
Do you guys even have any bars here?
I hope everyone has fun when they each have their own bar and they can't bring a friend to lift too.
I think we have now. That'll make I think 8 or 9 Texas bars that we have at the gym. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, maybe a little excessive. I don't know if we officially have more bars than we do members at the gym, but it's going to be
it's got to be really close.
Yeah, we're getting closer to that.
Once you consider specialty bars and stuff, it's got to be just about, isn't it?
It's getting. I think we still have more members, but that will flip flop someday, I assume.
Yeah,
because the members are only going to grow so much.
That's a lot. Yeah.
But the bars are really endless.
Yeah, that's awesome. So does this bring up an issue of storage now?
I did order another 3-bar gun rack holder. You know, on the one wall in between the benches, there's actually 3-bar that I've just added on. And if I move the Crispy Boys banner up a little farther, I can fit one more 3-bar. So I'm going to do that. But it does bring up an issue that if I didn't get something, there is not enough bar storage. So I am eventually going to get another vertical bar storage that sits on the ground. I just still haven't found quite the exact.
Those aren't as nice
mental
as
pictures.
As the gun rack
no,
ones, right? Yeah.
No, I don't like them as well. And I have a certain way that I want that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just
what's the one we have right now? A Titan or a Rogue one? We
have a Rogue, which is what is that, a 9 or is that a?
It's a 9, isn't it? Where the specialty
is it
bars
3x3 or is it? It's 3x3. Okay, so that 9, and we also have a Titan 5-bar holder that's back in the corner. It's back behind
with kind of the junks, like kind of the damage.
It's got all the shitty bars in it. Yeah,
the scratch and dent rack.
So we've got 14 bars that go in there.
Yeah,
between those two, but I don't like those as well. Obviously,
yeah, they're not, and they don't look as good. They're also a little bit more of a pain in the ass. But I always feel like they're harder on the equipment too.
They are definitely. They were good for the specialty bars, but also there's no wall space left for more gun rack unless I start taking posters down, and I can't do that. So,
that would totally mess the aesthetic of the gym up.
Yes, it's very everything's in a very specific spot. So there's a lot of calculation that went into everything that's in there.
Oh, of course, yes.
What are you drinking? Anything over there today?
Oh boy,
what are you drinking? Something?
I hope you're ready for this.
Oh, I'm ready.
I see you got something tasty over there.
Yeah,
I
got what was in the fridge. What do you got? Oh, you went with? Did you buy that, or is that a holdover from?
Well, this is from when I told you when I met your cousin at the liquor store. This is what I was getting there.
Yeah. Because we had those on the podcast one time, didn't we?
Yeah,
and somebody send that to us?
Yes, these are starting to be everywhere now. I've noticed these things in multiple places, and
so it's a Fresca mixed the vodka
Fresca vodka spritz mixed, and the grapefruit flavor is so damn good. It's so good.
Oh yeah, is that what we had that time? Do you think
that is what we had?
Must be a party night because I also went with an alcoholic beverage tonight in my Greek Spotter Light.
I think it's also when you have the 4th of July on a Tuesday, kind of messes the whole week up because people are taking the day after, and then people that are coming back to the office for 2 days or back to work for 2 days are not putting in not getting anything ambitious done in those 2 days either. So
I can attest to that.
Yeah. So
I'm having a Kona Big Wave 12-ouncer can.
That looks tasty too.
I'm a fan of Kona Big Wave. I don't know if we've talked. I don't know if I've had one of those on here before or not, but
Big Wave. For me, we've really been a Modelo. I think I said it already. We've been a Modelo family this summer. A lot of Modelos. It's Modelo time.
It is Modelo. It's like what they always say. It is Modelo season.
That's right.
Okay. What things do we want to cover on the list here? I'll say this. We had a special visitor at Massenomics Gym this week too. Big Jake Boley, That Fit Friend, I think is his YouTube handle. You can either check him out at Jake Boley on Instagram or That Fit Friend. I think there's 2 accounts, but on YouTube, it's That Fit Friend. And shot several YouTube videos with him. He's posted one of them so far, Jefferson deadlift tutorial video. I
missed that. I'll have to go look.
Yeah. It's like a Jefferson deadlift guide video. That one was me and him outside of Massenomics gym, horsing around, doing some Jefferson deadlifts. And then the other two that should be to come on his channel were another gym tour, which you can never have too many Massenomics gym tours.
Can never.
And then there was one where we just did some barbell comparison. So we'll have some people that will enjoy that one. And it's kind of I'd say a 10,000 foot view barbell comparison video, but still should be fun.
Yeah, I unfortunately could not make it back in time, but I am excited to watch those.
We missed you by like half a day.
I know. Yeah, it was about that. But it is also fun to see other people shoot videos in Massenomics and see what comes out of that. So
he's on he came from Denver. He left at 2 a.m. and got to Western Northeast South Dakota at like 2 p.m. that 12 hours later. And he's on a cross country tour. And interestingly, one of his final stops will be with supporting member Big Basement Brandon. He'll be going there also. So I said, make sure you let him know that ours was the far superior basement, of course.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Goes without saying, you know.
So that was kind of fun. We did a couple, one afternoon and one the next morning of YouTube video recording, and it is interesting, like when Chad Wesley Smith and Shorty were here shooting, seeing how they do things, and then seeing how Jake does things, and just now that we've recorded more YouTube every single week, just comparing what their thoughts and processes are versus how we do it, and kind of picking up some things from different people. It's cool.
Yeah, and you do see the common threads. Everyone does have the common threads and how they do it, which is kind of validates that, yes, we are all on the right path, I think. But then, everyone just has their little differences in how they shoot things, produce things, edit things, all that. So it's fun watching that.
We did have a good old time, though. We didn't rip it up at night too much, though, because he had been up for like
hit the road
20 hours.
Had to keep the schedule going.
Yeah, so we didn't do quite as much living easy as we might have liked to, but
more lifting hard.
Yeah, a little more lifting hard this time.
Yeah, that's okay.
We had fun though, damn it, and that's what matters.
That's all that counts. Tanner, I got a little sack here. Would you like to see into Tommy's sack?
I would love to.
Okay.
You're kind of flipping the script on me, aren't you?
I am catching you off guard. Before I get too far, I'm going to show you what the sack looks like.
Oh, hello.
I've
got one of those actually too, right over here.
So this plastic envelope it's in is from the Strength Co.
I like that sack.
I do. This is really nice. I know we've talked about having branded ones a lot, and we just never do it. But
it's just the argument is whether it's
I know.
Is it better to have the branded sack or give everyone an additional sticker in each order? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's hard. Note card, Tommy, happy 4th, USA. Like to see that. And
unfortunately, doesn't he know it's the 6th today?
Oh, they're off by like 300 and a lot of days. And then we got this beautiful Strength Co. red 4th of July Statue of Liberty shirt. I love it. It's great. Oh, and it's even got the American flag on the sleeve. That's the premium ones for them. Yeah.
Yep.
Big old beefy tee. Yep. I'm starting to have a lot of these in my lineup.
Me too. I've got one for every major holiday at this point.
It's at the point where I just only have the Strength Co. or Massenomics clothes when I leave the house. Like, that's all I have for clothes.
Yeah, I know.
Those are all of my clothes. I like that it's red, though. I like a different red, so I have another color to leave the house in now. So, thank you, Grant, and everyone at the Strength Co.
I wore mine on the 4th of July a little bit, even, because I was just feeling...
I would have if I was here in time to get it, but I had left already.
You were here.
Yeah, I was in Aberdeen. I was in Western Northeast South Dakota, so I missed out on that,
Back in God's country, as they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone, no matter what part of the country you live in, if you like where you live, everyone refers to it as God's country.
Yep, that is 100% a thing.
Is that accurate?
I think so. I can't imagine there's people that don't say that.
You know what else? We've even said it before on the podcast. This came up at the gym the other day. And I'm probably fortunate I come from a we've talked about it before. I'm not that hardcore into any music in particular.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not as hardcore into it as some people are. So I kind of tolerate every kind of music. I think
I know,
to a certain degree. Like I don't like I can take anything in a bit of moderation probably.
Mm-hmm.
But what everyone says about a kind of music they don't like. And I was like, this tested the theory in there because
wait, this actually happened to you, you're saying?
Yeah, this happened in the gym. Someone made a comment because some people will play something in the gym and some people don't like it, that genre, and they want to play their genre and whatever. You know, that's like a story as old as time, basically.
It's
every
like weird
gym
if that doesn't happen.
And that's why I say I'm probably fortunate because there's no genre that I'm like, hey, what's this shit? Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know what it would have to be for me to be like, this is very off-putting to me. But what everyone says about any genre of music that they aren't as into is that it all sounds the same.
Yeah.
That is universally true for anything they don't like. They say it all sounds the same. Mm-hmm. Like if it's hard metal, you know, like, which is maybe one of that I'm least into, you know, I don't even know. And that's where I would start to think it because I'm like, I don't even know it. It all kind of sounds the same. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're not that into something, it's like, oh, it all sounds the same. Then that's what people say about anything they're not into for music. It's the same. Like, oh, it all sounds the same to me. Like, oh, rap. What do people call more current rap? There's like I can't remember. There's like a kind of almost like a derogatory term for it, or like mumble rap. Like, mumble rap. It all sounds the same to me. Mm-hmm. It's all mumble. Yep. You know, like.
Yep, there's that. And then, country music. Oh, it's all the same thing now. It's just like a pop song wannabe thing.
Yeah, it all sounds the same.
Yeah, and then
that's what
metal,
everyone says about
it. All sounds the same. Well, it's the same thing. Like anything, even visually, it's like I don't know. Like they all look the same. Like whether it's cars or clothes or shoes or I don't know, it all looks the same. It's
anything that if they're not into something, it's all the same. But I just think it's funny how you can if you even think about it, you can apply it to any genre of music. Yeah. So I'm like, what genre do you like? Because the other people say yours all sounds the same. You know, like there's
it's like, no, I'm really just into jazz music. People be like, yeah, no, that literally all sounds the
same. But I even catch myself thinking that even after having that thought up. Because if I think of like the really hardcore metal in the gym that people will play sometimes, I don't dislike it, but I don't really know it. So to me, it all sounds I can't discern the differences.
But that is also the part of like that comes with having genres and categories for things is that to fit into or to be a part of certain,
to sound the same.
It has to have
right?
certain elements that are you know, like
literally like by definition.
A lot of metal has really distorted guitars, a guy screaming really loud, and some really fast drums. Like. Yeah, there's a reason that's metal music and not hip hop because if that was hip hop, it's not hip hop anymore, you know? Like
I like this Big Jonty in the Discord said all podcasts these days sound the same, which that's actually like that is a funny joke that we're talking on the podcast, but people would say something like that is a joke about podcasts. Like it's two dudes sitting around talking about how
you know what I've noticed.
So it's even true about what we're doing right now. But your point is good. I think like it is all the same. Like
it's like a different way of it's almost like a backhanded way of it. It's like a way to admit that you don't know about something, but to come off as more superior about it. Like, I'm not into that.
I don't know about it because.
You can't just say like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about that genre. You can say no
because people won't say that, will they? Like people don't want to like admit or people don't want to phrase it that way. Like they want to be like, that's bad. It all the same, so I don't know about it. Yeah.
I've never realized that, but that 100% is what it is. It's just like a backhanded way of being like, no, I'm not into that, and I'm gonna also sort of. Diss it while I'm saying
right.
I'm not aware
because I'm not into it. I need to diss it a little bit, and I'm not like sitting on my high horse. I'm certainly I guarantee I've said it like about multiple genres, and I think what you said is true too. That you can actually apply it to other things outside of just music too.
Oh, 100%. So many things. It's like whether it's cars, shoes,
Right.
clothes, like just any sub genre, whatever it is, like subculture you're not into, it's like it's just all the same. Like I don't know, I'm not really into tattoos. Like they all just kind of look the same.
I don't know. I don't like those IPAs. They all taste like shit. They all taste the same.
You can
Like,
do it
yours
to
are all-
you can say to anything. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all
red
it's
wine.
all the same.
Red
Takes on a
wine doesn't.
yeah.
Red wine doesn't
all
do.
the-
They're all the same.
Yeah. It's all the same. It's all shit.
Oh, it's
I
amazing.
don't like that. It's all the same. Why would I bother with it? It's all the same. I know I've had one. They're all
know
the
what?
same.
I don't even have a job because they're all the same. You wake up and you go. They're all the same. I don't even work.
So true.
You know what else is all the same? Books. You open them, you read. They're all the same.
They're all the same. I would. What, those vampire books? They're all the same. I don't need to read that shit.
Yeah. Oh, those things about the freaking elves or whatever they are, the dwarves and the ring. Yeah, those are all the same. I don't.
All the freaking same. What, Harry Potter, freaking.
Oh, you know those superhero movies. I don't watch them. They're all the same. I probably said that one.
Now
before.
that might be true. They are all the same.
I can almost guarantee there's somewhere on this podcast where I've been like,
Yes.
it's all the same formula.
But see, that's whenever it's you can joke about it more when it's not something you believe, but then as soon as you believe it, you're like, well, but that is all this. That really is all the same.
No,
as soon
to
as
me,
it's
that's even
something that you're
funnier
not
when
into.
it's like when I think I've said that. Now it's really hitting home. I like that even more.
Because like the superhero movies, when you say that, I'm like, yeah, that really is all the same.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Should we do a little supporting our supporting members?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to support these sons of guns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, we have supporting members of the podcast. We'd love for anyone listening, if you could be fairly new to the podcast, you could be a longtime listener, you could have ordered some merchandise from us before, you could have never ordered merchandise from us before.
You could have never even listened before.
That's true. You could have ordered a medium amount of merchandise before.
You could
like
think
one
we're all
article,
the
or
same as all the other ones.
They all sounds the same. Anyway, no matter what, if you're just interested in supporting us, you can get a supporting membership. It's on our site. Go to the shop page or supporting, or what is it? Massenomics.com/join. Check that out and get signed up. We have multiple levels of memberships there. So there's probably something that'll be right for you. And part of what you get in return is you get access to our online exclusive Discord community full of like-minded individuals, people having a silly goose time, also talking about training. There's always random topics coming up in there. You know, you might not relate to everything. Some things you might say it's all the same. Like today, everyone's posting their bikes, and to me, they all look the same.
Oh, your bike
I'm
also
jealous
has
I don't
two
have
wheels?
a cool bike. Yeah, I don't have a cool bike, so to me, they all look the same. But the topics are very much rotating. Like today, it was maybe bikes. Yesterday, it might have been I don't know. I can't even. There's just always different things going on in there.
Something else with wheels on it.
Bikes was particularly interesting to me today because there's certain people have shown their bike rides and like it's fitness adjacent and it's related to the Massenomics thing. But today people really got into showing off like all their different cool bikes, and I'm like, it's funny this Discord's around for this long,
and people
it just isn't until now that.
I wish I would have. I didn't see that. I was working like a machine. I would have put a picture of my bike in there.
I thought maybe you were gonna pop yours in there, and they
what
started.
Thread was that
in? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them right now.
And they started like is it Strava?
Yeah.
They started a Massenomics Strava group.
Oh, okay, because I did see comments about that.
Yeah. I think one of them started a Massenomics Strava group, which that's kind of cool.
There's some nice road bikes in here.
Yeah. And there was some good, but that's just my point is that's just one of many things that gets discussed in this group of what I would really call like-minded individuals. So come check it out. And the Discord's just one of the things you get. There's also discount code. You get early access to new items. You get to know what we got going on before other people know what we got going on. You get early access to signing up for our powerlifting meets and stuff like that. And the list goes on and on. And every week we like to give back to those people a little bit through this segment where we support them. So this week, Big Brand at Brand's Gym for Muscles, he celebrated the birth of a child. So that's exciting. Congratulations, big brand. I can't remember boy, girl, doesn't really matter, but
Baby.
congrats, big
Yes,
brand.
congrats.
And also, one of the big Davids also had a child too. So
they're multiplying.
Our crew is growing by leaps and bounds here, isn't it? So congrats, Big David. Then Big George G did his first powerlifting meet. He had a 391 squat, 271 bench, and a 435 deadlift. So
Nice.
awesome job, Big George. Good job getting out there and doing your first meet. It's always cool when someone does their first. You never forget your first, do you, Tommy?
No, you do not.
Then Big Katie did a strongman competition. She moved up actually from the middleweight class, or from the lightweight class to the middleweight class, because I think there was no one in her lightweight division.
She said, "Nah, let's make this hard." I actually want to work today.
She still whipped all their asses in the middleweight class. She said, "F you, mother effers! I'm here to F and win this."
She said, "Whoa, we're just here to
If
have
I could
fun."
paraphrase Katie, I'm pretty sure based on the picture she posted in the Discord, that's what she said.
That was actually what I was thinking too when I saw the picture. So
I could read between the lines of her facial expression, and she said that's kind of what she said. And then Big Dodzilla, Big Scott Dodd, supporting member number 1, was the guest this week on Unpaid and Underrated. Great listen. Do go check out Unpaid and Underrated if you haven't yet. If you're a supporting member, especially, and you haven't checked it out, go give it a listen. And if you're interested, probably get on there as a guest some point in time if you want to talk about your Massenomics history, your lifting history, Massenomics lore, any and all of that. Go check out the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. It's our sister podcast.
Yeah.
I like to say that it gives them good credit, but yet also still asserts our dominance over them because they're our sister. Like we're like
if we say it's our
brother.
Child podcast, it kind of feels like we're sort of responsible for it. You know, we're sisters. Like, I don't know. Like, we're not. I mean, we're connected, but we're not totally responsible.
Yes. So do go give them a listen. Check it out.
All right. Well, good work, everyone. Great job. Our guest isn't here yet, Tanner, so I guess we can still let's do whatever we feel like.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. We got plenty of other stuff.
Well, singlets. We haven't really mentioned our singlets.
We haven't even talked. Yeah, we should definitely mention that.
Yeah, so our singlets, after delay, I should say after design, research, development, delay, they have finally arrived. And
it has been a long road on the singlets.
Oh my God. I think we started this process in like February. Our guest is here, so I'll hurry this up a little bit, but
okay.
They did arrive. They look as good as we hoped for. Like, they really did turn out the way we hoped. There's not a lot of times you can say that about a product, especially one that you've never done before. And this really did turn out good. So if you are in the market for a singlet, hop on over to Massenomics and check those out.
Get one.
They're black. The body's black, but it has like our pattern on it. It's very subtle. So instead of being just a plain black singlet, there's just a very, very subtle pattern to it. Like, people out in the crowd,
subdued in a really classy way.
Yeah, people out in the crowd might just think you have a black singlet on, but you get a little closer and you go, "Oh, there's more going on there than just a plain old black singlet." Yeah, and then we have a red, you call it like a red stripe band that goes down from the armpit all the way down to the
border around the legs. And everything.
Down all the way to the leg, and then it wraps around the leg. So you have that black and red.
I think they came out really good. They look really cool.
Yeah, then Massenomics big on the chest. We got the logo on the upper back. I think they turned out great. We have them in size small through 3X. Size chart is on the website by poundage, so you can find the right size for you in there. But I think it's
enormous pain in the ass on the singlet's an awful experience, but the end result is good. The singlet is nice. Huge pain in the ass for us, but I guess we got a good singlet at the end of the day, so that's the win.
We do it all for you, for you.
You know what else I do for everyone?
What?
I tell them to check out Juggernaut AI. This is the training that Tommy and I both use. So coming from a couple of juggernauts like ourselves, that means it's good. We also have a whole bunch of people in Massenomics Gym that use it, a whole bunch of people in our supporting member crew that use it. So we've gotten to see a lot of feedback over the last 12 months or so, what people like and maybe some things they didn't like, but also then how things have adapted to that and how they've found ways to change and make it better over time. And I think that's one particularly good thing about Juggernaut is this is not a stale app. It is not a stale program.
It's alive.
They are constantly improving this to make it a better experience for anyone that wants to use it. And what I really tell people is it's an awesome value buy. There's a lot of different ways to be able to get strong. Juggernaut AI is not the only way to be able to do that. But what Juggernaut is it's an extremely reasonably priced, the cost that you're shelling out, what you get in return is a great value. And I really believe that you're spending about $30 a month, and what you get in return, the value is so well worth that $30 for what you get in terms of how good the app is and how good the programming is and how much it adapts to you.
Yes. And on that adaption part, like you do get out of it what you put in. Like if you're just going to like, all right, it's going to spit some numbers out at you and you say, yeah, good.
And if you lie,
you'll get a program.
If you don't answer the questions appropriately, it's going to screw it up for you. It's going to get screwed up.
Yeah, like you'll get a program and you'll get stuff, but if you are like honest with it and like are introspective in the way of like, was that hard? Was that easy? And you put some thought into this, man, you can make some insane progress with Juggernaut AI in a hurry.
Absolutely. And most important about Juggernaut AI, use our discount code. It's Massenomics. You have to go to the web browser, not the app, to sign up. Go to the web browser, type in discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% for the lifetime of your membership, and it'll make us look really cool to the people over at Juggernaut. So use that discount code.
And today's show is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.shoes. Code Massenomics is going to save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot.
So funny, right before you get on your guest, Tommy, in the Discord, Big Colton, I don't know if you see what he just posted there in the podcast thread of Discord, the most recent thing posted in the podcast thread.
Yes.
It's so funny, Tommy and I were just talking about Mr. Deeds.
Yeah,
that Butler from Mr. Deeds. So that's great.
All right. Should we get our guest in here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey.
Big Cori, is that you?
It is.
Oh, you're wearing the right shirt for the occasion, it looks
Looking
like.
the part.
Well done.
We're excited to get you on the Massenomics podcast. We're just going to jump right into it if you're ready.
I am ready when you are.
All right, you're born ready for this?
Yes, absolutely. I've been waiting for this since like my first trip to your gym.
Yeah, it has been a long time coming. I think we were just saving. This is special because you are a South Dakota guest, and that doesn't happen all that often.
I am born and raised.
Not Western. For anyone that doesn't know the South Dakota geography as well, you're not Western Northeast South Dakota, though. You are, I don't know. What would you call it?
I'm about as far west and probably south-ish as you can get without being in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Southwest South Dakota.
Whole different side of the state.
Yeah.
Some might argue the prettier side of the state.
Yeah, I could see how someone might say that.
I don't think that takes a lot of arguing to make that statement.
Fair enough.
No, I'm going to start off with interesting fact, and I didn't tell you this, Tommy, so I didn't want to spoil.
Oh, we're both getting the interesting fact.
This will be a surprise for both of you, and I'm guessing neither of you know this, and it's really funny. In 2015, at the USAPL meet in Rapid City, the South Dakota USAPL meet, we all three of us did that meet together.
Really?
No shit.
Yes. We all three of us did the same.
Wow.
Competed in the same powerlifting meet in 2015. Did either of you know that?
I did not know that. No.
No, I did not.
Was that the first year? Was 2015 the first year we did it, Tanner? Was
that would have been our first powerlifting meet ever? Was that your first powerlifting meet ever?
It was my only powerlifting
Yeah.
meet.
So
Yeah.
all of us did our first powerlifting meet ever together.
That's so sweet.
And it was, here we are 8 years ago.
God, it doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah. And the reason I know that is because in preparation for this episode, I've Googled people, look through their Instagram. I always check Open Powerlifting to see if there's anything there. You had one meet in there. It's that one. And I looked at it. I'm like, I feel like I did that meet. And then I clicked it. You can click on the meet in there. And I'm like, yep, there's Tommy's name and there's my name. And I'm like, we all did the same meet together.
Well, that's so sweet. It was like it was just meant to be.
Yeah. So that was cool. I was saving that. That was like I led with my favorite thing that I had to say today.
That's amazing. I don't know how we're gonna talk that.
Yeah, I know that is cool. So that's actually a good starting point though. Anyway, so you did that powerlifting meet. It was your only one, but was that kind of your introduction, like the beginning of your strength training journey at that point then, would you say? Or
yeah, it kind of was. I kind of had the thought in my head that that's where I was going to go, was powerlifting. It seemed like a really good fit. I was an athlete growing up, but I started back in the gym after kids and just with like boot camp classes and that, the mom stuff, right? And then quickly realized that I was pretty naturally strong and would so much rather lift weights than do any kind of cardio type movements. So powerlifting was actually where I was going to go until one of the trainers at the gym I was at the time was training for a strongman show up in Deadwood, and said he was, looking for somebody to train with, asked if I wanted to jump in. And that was kind of how I went from powerlifting to strongman. It was just so much damn fun.
So when you started doing strongman stuff, like, did it feel like it was a natural fit? I mean, were you picking up on stuff right away?
Yeah. Like, I think the first event we trained was Atlas stones, and I did my first set of Atlas stones and I was like, yep, this feels natural. Like, this is my jam for sure.
So you kind of left powerlifting in the dust. Like, as soon as you did that first strongman, you kind of knew that was what you liked better then.
I thought I might dabble a little bit, maybe do both. And I switched gyms. I ended up going to a CrossFit gym and training there, and ended up kind of doing more to the CrossFit side of things, the coaching and the training a little bit, kind of work on my engine, and then stuck with the strongman stuff. And my first nationals I went to, I was a middleweight and actually got down to like 170 pounds or something silly. And very quickly realized that doing CrossFit daily and strongman training daily did not mix well together. So it just was really affecting my static strength quite a bit. So I bailed on that. I still do some. I mean, obviously you need kind of an engine, kind of be able to be in some sort of shape. But I don't do it daily like I was doing it.
Yeah. And thinking on the powerlifting thing, not that you can't be tall and be a good powerlifter, but you are fairly tall too, right? How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Right. Yeah. And so like, it's just like anyone, same for women or men, like there's much height classes as they are weight classes in powerlifting. So it just gets tough, like competing at a certain point at a certain height, because like in a weight class sport it's trickier. Whereas in strongman, the height, you can use it to your advantage in a lot of ways. It's more advantageous. Some events. Yeah.
I do like it. I mean, I really did enjoy powerlifting. I really enjoy benching. I know a lot of people don't, but I really like benching, and I still do it fairly often. And I would do it again. It was just kind of how things took off with strongman. It pretty quickly like went from nationals to the Arnold to the pro card, and then it was kind of didn't have much time for it, but I would certainly do it again. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you've so I mean, you've taken strongman. I don't know if we specifically explained this or if you said it, but you compete at a very high level in strongman now. I mean, you're I don't know in terms of women where you probably, maybe you wouldn't even say where you rank amongst all the top women strongman, but like you compete. You're right. You got third at the Shaw Classic last year, right?
I did, yes.
Right. And that's that group would be top female strongman in the sport, right?
Yeah. So I got third at the Shaw last year. I've competed in Strongest Women in the World. I took fourth the year that I did that show. competed in World's Ultimate Strongman in Dubai, finished 5th in that show. So, I mean, I would say I would like to think I'm top 5, but at least top 10 in the world for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what when we were talking about it, I said, just based on the competitions that you're competing at, even regardless of placing, if you're competing at those, you're top 10 in the world. Like,
I would definitely think so for sure. Yeah.
Right. So not too bad then, I guess. Not, like,
I mean,
nothing to shake a stick
I can
at.
hold my own, I think.
Yeah. And are you still the American axle clean and press record holder?
I am for the heavyweight division. Yes.
Okay.
And
so what's
that
the weight?
number at right now?
271 point something.
That's up
okay. Yeah.
A lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yes. So is overhead press a particularly good event for you? Like normally, I mean, is that one of your strongest
axle
ones?
seems to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Axle clean and press I enjoy a lot, and that is, that fat bar, 2.5 inch, kind of like, I mean, it literally is a car axle, ground to overhead. Strongman doesn't really have, you can push jerk, split jerk, push press. Hell, you can strict press the thing if you want to. And that's probably my favorite. I enjoy deadlifting a lot too. We get to deadlift a lot of cool things, but axle clean and press is definitely my favorite of the overhead events.
There's something about when I say that record out loud, even though it's the American record, I always want to add the word world somewhere in there when I say it's like the American axle clean and press world record holder. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but like that's the way it rolls off my tongue every time.
Be upset with it. I did have the world record for a few minutes. That same show, Melissa Peacock and I kind of battled back and forth, and
okay.
I got the clean at 275, missed the jerk, and she hit the jerk. She split jerks really well and got the jerk. And then I think it was a month or two later, Annabelle Chapman, I believe it was, hit just under 300. It was like 288, 290, something like that. So,
and you said you're at 271 is?
Yeah, 271.
Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, you're right there. I mean, like, do you feel like you have a shot at that still?
I would like to, before, my time has passed, hit 300 overhead. 300 overhead is the goal.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. I know it's a lofty goal, but I think it can be done.
So you talked about a lot of the different contests that you've competed in at the high level. In terms of women's, what is there one that's the most prestigious? Like, if you win this show, like, do you feel like you're confident that you're the best, or like what? Because there's in men's, it's easier. Like, I feel like it's World's Strongest Man people talk about, of course.
Yeah.
And then also it's probably the Arnold for a slightly different reason. And then maybe like the Shaw or the Rogue is creeping up there. But I still think it's kind of World's Strongest Man is what people would talk about the most. But what about in women's? Is it clear cut which show is like, what if you could win one, Pro. Which would you pick? Okay.
I would pick Arnold Pro for sure.
Yeah.
Especially here in the States. Overseas, there's different, like Giants Live is starting to creep in to do some lady shows, and they have like Europe's Strongest and Britain's Strongest and all of that over there. But I would say for us American ladies, the Arnold Women Pro is right now probably the Super Bowl, if you will, of strong woman shows. Yeah.
Yeah. And this last year, this was the first year that they really upped it too, wasn't it? Or had they been doing
this?
That?
Is the
was
first
last year better too? Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
so I competed not this last year, but the year before, when it was still just kind of Strongman Corp that was mostly involved with that. And this last year, last March, Rogue became involved and did it more with the men, more integrated with the pro men. And it was something. Like, I was there, got to be backstage watching and talk about Envy. I was so jealous. I wanted to be on that stage so badly.
Yeah. So how do you make it to that? Like, is it just invite, or is there qualifications for it too, or what is it?
Originally, it was qualifications. That's how it's always been. This last year when Rogue took it over, they did do just invites. I'm not sure how that selection process went, and I haven't heard if they're going to continue to do it that way or if they're going to implement some kind of qualification process. secretly I'm kind of hoping for a qualification process because I'd really like to get back on that stage.
Yeah.
But they haven't released
Because
any details.
If it's qualification, you can at least to an extent control your ability to get there.
Yeah,
if it's just invite, you can't, you can't force them to invite you. I get this. I get both. Like from an athlete side, you probably want it to be qualification. From Rogue side, what they benefit is they can then invite like Tamara Walcott, who we've had on the podcast before, who probably maybe she hasn't done very much strongman before, but people just know who she is, so they want to have her out there. She's just a good name that people know.
Super strong lady. Super strong lady. She was fun to watch for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
I think it's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. Obviously, from my standpoint, who I belong in that group of ladies, but maybe I'm not as well known as some of those ladies. So I'm at a bit of a disadvantage there, I feel like. Whereas if a qualification process, or at least it was kind of half and half, I would have the opportunity to earn a spot there based on performance rather than who I am.
Right. That makes sense. So do you think I don't know, just social media and stuff like that plays into that then of who they're picking on?
I think it plays a big part of that. Yeah. Big part of that. And, podiuming at other big shows, like, the Shaw, I think they probably look at some of the Giants shows for the international ladies. I think they look at. So I think you kind of have to, if your name's getting thrown out there when you're asking about the best of the best, obviously, women like Victoria Long, super impressive athlete, but very well known, has won America's Strongest. I came in second at America's Strongest to her a couple of years back. So it is very much recognition. And I think social media in our day and age plays a huge part in that.
Yeah. What Tommy and I were talking about is like in when we compare strongman to powerlifting, in powerlifting, women's powerlifting feels like almost in every way that it's on par with men's powerlifting. Like it doesn't even seem different. It's just powerlifting kind of at this point. Like some people, women's might be,
it's almost just a different set of weight classes. Like early
right. It's just different classes. They get equal attention almost in every way. In strongman, it feels like it's not still, but it's getting like women's is gaining way more traction all the time, but it still doesn't feel like it's quite, it's not treated quite the same yet. I don't know what my question is, but just like, what do you think about that? Or is that how you see it? Or what do you think?
I do. I think, I have a little bit of a different opinion than some on this particular topic, simply because I obviously I'm all for us getting the recognition, equal opportunities as far as, payouts and stage time and things like that. But I also recognize that, the men have been around in the sport a lot longer than the women have. So I guess you could say they have paid dues that women may necessarily have not yet. And that's it's not because we're not impressive or fun to watch. It's just that those opportunities haven't been televised and things yet, or as much. Right. So the world hasn't really been exposed to what we can do as much as the guys. And when you think about, like, when people ask me what strongman is, and I say, well, the big guys that you see on TV that are, pulling planes and lifting the big, like, cement stones. And they're like, oh yeah. That's how people identify with strongman, right? Mm-hmm. The Brian Shaws, the big Z's, the super heavy guys, like, lifting incredible things. And I think it just is going to take some time. Like, I think in a way, women still have a few dues to pay before we get to that level of payouts and exposure and that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's coming. I definitely think Rogue becoming involved is huge for the women's side of the sport.
Yeah, and that's a really good person to have on your side, or a really good company to have on your side. Like they have the push and the ability to change things for sure. But like when Tanner and I were talking about it before this, we were saying, the first Arnold we went to, what was that, Tanner? Like 2016-ish, 15?
Yeah.
15, we just went mostly as spectators, but I mean, if you told me there was women's strongman stuff happening, I'm not even sure I was aware. I mean, I'm sure there was, but I couldn't even tell you that there was anything going on just because you weren't really aware of it. And now like this year, like, yeah, it was obvious. Like there was a bigger, like a bigger event and everything surrounding it. So, I mean, just in that, 7 years or so, like things have changed for sure. Which makes you think that in another 7 years, like things will be on a whole nother level. I mean, probably even in 3 years, things will be on a whole nother level, but yeah, it does seem like there's some momentum behind it right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even when I did, when I earned my pro card, like it was we were on just a regular state. I mean, we were on the floor basically, and you made it to day 3, which was the finals. And then you got to be up on what they were calling the main stage at that point in time. But it was nothing even close to the production. I mean, just the lights and the stage and the fans and just the presence of this year's show was just incredible. I thought it was a huge step, I think, for the sport.
You get a particularly interesting side of especially when we talk about men's and women's and stuff too, because you have a good behind the scenes look at the men's side of it too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I might know a person who competes.
Yeah. Big Bobby has been known to, what did Bobby get at Arnold this year? Was he second?
Third.
Third. Okay. So who was second? Because
doesn't matter.
Cooper won. No. No. Yeah. I'm just thinking out loud. Who
shoot. Was it Trey? No.
Here, I'll tell you right now.
I don't know why I can't remember.
Yeah, somebody Google. If only we had devices where we could find such information.
It'll be obvious to me when
I know.
Bodybuilding.
Because it wasn't. Well, you look that up, Tommy, and report it back to me.
Mateus was he second?
Mm.
That's what this says on Bleacher Report, but I'm not sure.
He might have been.
I couldn't remember if he was hurt or not though. Like for some reason. This says Trey. Okay, this says Trey Mitchell first, Mitchell Hooper second.
No,
Mitchell Hooper won.
Why is? Oh, that's day one. Day one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? Like that doesn't sound right at all.
We're really
yeah. Of this 5-month-old event. We're really getting to the bottom of it. But you are doing the Shaw Classic this year officially. Then you're back.
I am.
To it. But you've had an injury recovery and kind of a fairly long road of recovery on that, haven't you?
It'll be just short of a year, just a few weeks shy of a year.
So what did you do?
I blew up my bicep, basically. I had a full rupture of my distal bicep tendon. And then I also tore it at the muscular tendinous junction. So I did get surgery done. I had it reattached. And it's been a very long, by the time they cleaned it up, it was a very short piece of tendon left. So they had to really stretch the thing. So it's been a really long process of just stretching that back out and trying not to re-injure. I also had somehow managed to get a hematoma in there that was literally the size of my surgeon's fist, which I apparently hold the record for his hematomas. He's like, I've never seen one that big. And I'm like, woohoo, of all the things to be noticed. Yeah. So yeah, I did quite a number. It was like a firecracker went off in there. And that was a sandbagged shoulder event where I had it in my lap and went to clean it to my shoulder and the thing just popped. It was the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life.
Was it a heavy? I mean, was it something for reps that you were doing, or was it a heavy one?
So it really wasn't. I mean, I think it was a 245 or so. So it really wasn't heavy. The event itself, like we had so much time there were multiple options of sandbags. And of course I believe it was the heavier you went, the more points you got for the heavier bags, less points for the lighter bags. Not an event that I had a lot of experience with. And so I started just to get some points on the board with one of the lighter bags, and happened on the first rep, cleaned it to my lap and went to shove the thing to my shoulder and just popped.
Yeah, but it obviously long recovery, but it must be going pretty decently now. It looks like
I feel it is.
Yeah.
it was a really slow, really frustrating first few months, because it was, really, I had to be really careful with the stretching of the tendon. But it was also something that had to be done. So I did a lot of, I think I called it, what did I call it? Operation Dump Truck. Because I did a whole lot of safety bar squatting and lunging and sled drags and just
doing what you can do, what you could do. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I just hit a 200 log for a few reps about a week and a half ago or so. And that was the first time I put 200 over my head since the injury. So I feel pretty good about that. That's actually our log comp weight for Shaw. So I feel like I'm making progress. It's been slow, and it's certainly not going I'm not as statically strong as I'd like to be, but I've got 6-7 weeks left to get my ass in gear. And
how do you feel about the events for you? Like, is there anything in particular you're really looking forward to, or any of the events you don't like as well?
I really like a heavy yoke, and we've got a 660 yoke. So I'm looking forward to that. There is a sandbag event. So we have a wheelbarrow sandbag medley. So we've got to load a couple of sandbags into a wheelbarrow, push it a certain distance, load another bag, push it, load another bag, push it. And I just have been cleared to start to do some sandbag picks. And so I'm a little worried, a 250 sandbag is what we've got to load in 4 of them. So I'm a little concerned about that. Just some, I guess you'd call it PTSD from the sandbag itself, and just the fact that I haven't really been able to train it much so far. So I'd say that's what I'm most nervous about. We have a car deadlift, and that's a front bar, which you're talking about height before powerlifting, and that's not a height advantage kind of event, kind of movement. So that bar sits at a really awkward height for a tall individual. So it's not a very standard deadlift. So I wouldn't say I'm worried about that. It's just not my best or my favorite deadlift for sure.
Okay, we'll cool. See. And it seems like the Shaw, obviously, it's getting better and better every year too. It's like getting bigger and better every time. So I'm sure this year will be no exception, that it's going to be pretty awesome competing there.
It's super awesome. Like, Brian and Cori work so hard to put that thing on, and you definitely notice a difference with a show that's put on by an athlete versus a show that's just put on by a promoter. Right. Just the detail that they put into every aspect of the show is just absolutely, it's so much fun. It's absolutely incredible. And they're such good people. But yeah, it's so much fun. There's quite a few girls that I look forward to competing with that didn't compete last year, and some girls that are coming back that I look forward to competing with, and some new girls that I've never met. So that's always fun. A fun part of powerlifting, strongman, whatever it is that you do, is meeting new athletes and new people. And once the actual work is done, you can get to know people a little bit and make some new friends.
And it's not even a far drive for you. It's like just down the road.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. There aren't very many shows I get to drive to. So yeah, I'm super pumped about that.
What gym do you train at?
Black Hills CrossFit.
Okay. So where is that?
So it's out. How often are you here? It's out Deadwood Avenue, kind of out by the Coke plant. Where off the highway or off the interstate there.
I don't know. Tommy, doesn't mean anything to you.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Without being here or not being from here, it's hard for me to, it's not a big place. The gym itself, I like. The people are the main reason I stay. But it's just a big open space. So we don't have, the disadvantage is I don't have a lot of the cable machines and the different machines to do accessories on, but it's 24-hour access. It's a big open space. If as our lovely South Dakota weather doesn't allow for many outside yoke sessions or farmers sessions. So there's enough space for me to run inside and not, run into machines or too many people so it's a great place, and the people are awesome. And it's been my home for lots of years now. And so it's kind of the only disadvantage again is not having, I don't have a whole ton of strongman equipment. It's just kind of stuff that I've pieced together over the years. So you have to get pretty creative with training sometimes.
And you have gotten to train at Massenomics Gym before. You even mentioned that at the beginning. So that's quite the honor. Yeah.
It is. I love it. I wish we were not so far apart. I would drive. I mean, I would drive every weekend.
If it wasn't like 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool. What, it's been, I don't know if it's been a year since you're there, however long it was, but it's been a little while, but was there any, strongman equipment you were thinking at the time, like, oh, they should really have this, they should have this piece of equipment? I always like to quiz people on that. So it gives me ideas of what we need.
Not
next.
Really. I mean, when I was training, I don't remember what I was training for. But I think I had log and I think I needed kegs. And you guys had,
we got a lot of both of those. Yeah.
Yeah. You had quite a bit of that stuff. I see, videos of folks training there every now and again pop up in my Instagram feed, some of the people I follow, and I just miss it. I get jealous every time I see the videos. I'm like, man, I just want to go to Aberdeen.
Well, anytime you're here, you get to, you get, anyone that's a guest on the podcast gets a free day pass. So that's a pretty big score.
That's a huge score.
Yeah. Okay, we've got 2 games to play with you today. One of them's overrated, underrated, but we're not to that one yet. We've got a special Cori Butler game here.
Ooh.
This is rank these butlers. So if any of these you don't know, there's a list. So any of them you're not familiar with, we're just going to throw them out. They're going to be off the list. So first, we'll go through them fairly quickly, and I'll just ask you, do you know this butler? And if you don't know him, we'll take him off the list. So Alfred from Batman.
Of course.
Okay. Jarvis from the Avengers.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat.
Yes. I mean, I know who he is. I don't know him personally. We're not related.
Yeah. The butler from Mr. Deeds, the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, very, very sneaky, that butler.
I'm also not related to him.
Okay, how about Gerard Butler?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a good one.
Okay.
I would claim to be related to him.
Yeah. And then Lurch from the Addams Family.
Of course, yes.
Okay, so we talked about Alfred, Jarvis, Jimmy Butler, the Mr. Deeds Butler, Gerard Butler, and Lurch from Addams Family. Maybe you don't have to rank them all, but is there one of those that stands out as your favorite butler of all of those?
So what are we basing these on, like, performance? Are we basing these on, like, comedic value?
Just like whatever really stands out to you as a good butler.
Whatever's noteworthy to you.
Some of these are actual butlers and some of them just have butler in their name.
I was going to say, I think of all of those, the only actual butler duties is Lurch.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Deeds he's only there for comedic value, really. Like, he doesn't actually do his job.
He whacks his foot with the fire poker.
Right?
Yeah.
There isn't really. I would have to say, that's a tough one. Comedic value, obviously, Mr. Deeds, but overall, like, somebody you'd want in your corner, probably Alfred.
Yeah, especially
or
like
Jarvis.
Jarvis, Alfred from the Batman, from the Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah.
That British dude, he seems pretty on point.
When
right. Good person to have in your corner.
When they're nodding at each other in the cafe together.
Yeah, when they see each other at the end of the movie. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I'm also pretty partial to the Mr. Deeds Butler too. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Lurch from Addams Family was 6'9". He was legitimately a big dude.
Wow.
I don't know that. Like, I feel like based on actual job position, he should win, but it would take you. It's got to take you 9 years to clean a house at his speed, right? Like,
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, he had good intentions though.
He did have good intentions, and you really wouldn't have. I mean, he seems pretty low maintenance too, right?
That's true. I don't even know if he like sleeps or anything. So like he might just be awake all the time.
He just kind of like hovers around,
Yeah.
lingering.
Yes. Okay, so that's good. You passed that game. But now the real reason we had you on is overrated, underrated, and you're probably familiar with this, but we've got a special set of topics for you that we're going to fire off to you, and you decide if each one's overrated or underrated, but you just can't ride the line. You have to really decide, but you have your druthers to elaborate as much or as little as you'd like on each one.
All right.
But we say that, but really, if people don't elaborate very much, we ask them questions.
We will pry more out. Yeah.
You don't really get a choice. We actually force
it's really
you to say
an
more about it.
on-the-spot game. Like,
Yes.
here, we're forcing you to talk.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So overrated or underrated, Dubai?
Underrated. I spent 2 weeks in Dubai, and it was absolutely incredible. Could I live there? I don't know if I could live there. Could I spend a significant amount of time there? Absolutely. Like, it was unbelievable experience.
So does it feel like, because you see videos and pictures, and it sort of just seems like it's a fantasy land where
it feels so much like that.
Okay.
It's like this bubble of surrealness. Like, you can't even imagine. So I'll tell you a story about Dubai. I am a dumbass and left my cell phone in a cab when we were coming back. I don't remember where we were coming back from, but got back to the hotel. Realized, of course, we can't go very long without those stupid devices, right? Like, we noticed pretty quickly that they're on. So I don't even think I made it to the concierge desk before I realized that I had left it, and went to the concierge desk, let them know this was the situation. The guy had called up to security. They had like the license plate and had called the cab company, and the guy was bringing me back my cell phone before I could even get to my hotel room. Like, it was bananas. Like, in back here, even here, like, you would never see that cell phone again. Like, it would just be, it would be gone. So it's very much exactly how it's presented in videos and movies and all of that. It's just this, I called it the bubble of surrealness. It's just insane, but so hot. I think
it is in a desert. So.
Yes, it is, but you really don't feel like you're in the desert. Because you're just in this metro area, right? There's huge buildings. It's city all around you. And then you drive, we did do a safari. You're like 10 minutes out of this metro area, and it's just sand as far as you can see. So it is pretty crazy that you go from one extreme to the other in seconds.
That's cool. Yeah. Overrated or underrated salmon tossing?
Overrated. So overrated. If I never have to toss another salmon, yes, I tossed a salmon.
Just,
yes,
just for everyone listening, just to clear this up in case anyone knows, salmon tossing is not a weird sexual reference. It's a strongman event.
There are probably some people that are going to Google it now, and it probably is.
It actually probably also is, but that's not what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yes. So we had strongest woman in the world. I think it was 2018. One of the events was a max salmon toss, and we had a rubber replica of like the state record salmon.
So how heavy is that roughly?
It was like 58 pounds, something like that, something ridiculous.
Was it like rubbery though and floppy kind of too? Yeah.
Was it a calibrated salmon? Like, you knew, like, they got the weight on?
Definitely not calibrated salmon. Thank God it wasn't like slimy, but it had like little rubber teeth, and it was the weirdest damn thing I have ever. How many people can say they tossed a salmon in a contest? Definitely overrated. It was a bit of a ridiculous event. It was fun. I can say I did it. I've got some, I guess, pictures to prove it, but it was, overrated. 100%.
When was it limited, the technique you could use? Like, I assume you couldn't like spin it like a hammer throw and let it.
You could not. You had to be
very funny thought.
Chest facing. You couldn't be to the side. You couldn't throw it backwards. You had to have like both hands on it at the release. There was no spinning. Yes, there were many, many rules. You had to start with like 1 foot in. We had like this, I don't know, like a 3-foot box that we had to stay within. We had to start with 1 foot in the box. Both feet had to be in the box when we released. Yes, it was a nightmare.
So where was this event at?
It was at the state fair in Palmer, Alaska.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then, so like, what was, like a winning throw roughly? Like, how far was this thing going?
God,
would it have been like 20 feet or something like that? Or
I think it was like 15, 17 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which of course it was, I think, the one and only time this event was done. So it was like a world record salmon throw, like top. I don't know.
I mean, a much different implement, but it's also, I mean, it's a little bit like the stupid event they did at with the rock throw thing.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of looked the same where you're like, I don't know, they all look the same. I can't tell who's as good and who's as bad, and they all kind of look like they're doing bad. Like even the best ones, they don't look like they're doing good. You know,
it's a very lackluster event. Yes.
Yeah.
There is not much excitement around. I mean, it could have like paid homage to Ohio and I don't know, thrown an Arnold statue, or I don't freaking know.
Right.
I don't. There's no way to make that event exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Billy the Big Mouth Bass?
Yeah, the thing you
push
press the red
and
button and he
maybe there's
take me to the river.
Maybe we could host another Massenomics Strongman. We could have a Billy the Big Mouth Bass throwing contest.
I will judge. I volunteer.
Yeah. You're like one of the few people qualified.
We're calling in the salmon throwing expert. We're like the Pawn Stars guy. Like, oh yeah, we
got a person for that. Yeah.
You're happy to have that in my resume.
Overrated or underrated Black Hills Gold?
Overrated.
Oh,
what is your, I'm curious to know what your answer is on that.
I've never really cared for the look of it all that much myself.
Tanner's a big jewelry guy, but just not a big Black Hills Gold guy.
Yeah.
Not the big bling.
He's just always covered in rings.
You got like the necklace.
Yeah. Black Hills Gold, I mean, it's fine for like old people. It just reminds me of old people, honestly.
I always think of like my grandpa growing up.
Right.
And I don't even know if he had any, but I assumed he did.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a very touristy thing.
Yeah.
Like if you live here, I mean, it's not like it's rare or expensive or kind of costumey, kind of like, but yeah, I feel like it's a touristy thing, like a trinket you take home from vacation.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Last topic, and we always save the most important, the most difficult for last. Do you have any idea what the last topic is, or who the last topic could be? Okay, overrated or underrated? The professional strongman Bobby Thompson.
Oh, so underrated. He's the best.
You didn't think about that very long. Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. You might be second guessing yourself later.
I didn't have to. You could have even not said his last name, and my answer would have just been that fast. I had a feeling.
Yeah, Big Bobby. He's not too bad of a guy. We can also vouch for that.
I think we like him a little bit.
Yeah,
all three of us.
Yeah,
we heard he's
together.
Great. We heard he's planning on moving to South Dakota soon too, so that'll be exciting.
It's a work in progress.
Yep.
If it wasn't so damn hard to travel from this place, I would probably be able to persuade him. But I don't know. Maybe if he had access to the Massenomics gym, that would be a selling point. But that would mean I would have to move across the state.
If only South Dakota, like that's what people think. Like even people like coming for our meet in a few weeks. A lot of people, if they're less familiar with like the geography of the state, they're like, oh yeah, we can check out Mount Rushmore and that sort of stuff.
No, that's a second vacation.
Like that's a trip from where we're at.
Yeah, that's a bit of a jaunt.
Yeah. Depending on where you live, that's like multiple states you're going to cover.
Yes, it really is. I went to a volleyball camp in high school. And we stayed in like a dormitory, and I had my roommates convinced that like we still drove tractors around town and
like to get to school.
Yes. And had like, I walk around with pieces of hay in my mouth, and like, we don't wear shoes and like overalls or, left my overalls at home for the first time in forever. Like it was ridiculous. They were all convinced that I was telling the truth. I'm like, you guys are idiots.
Good news though, we just tallied up the score there, and it looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So
Yay!
Congratulations. Yeah. It's quite the accomplishment.
That's probably higher on the resume than the salmon tossing.
Well, I don't think you should downplay the salmon tossing thing too much.
This is going to come back to bite me in the ass. You know that, right?
Yeah. I would say it was long overdue for us to get you on here. We're excited to get you on. This is a lot of fun. We will be cheering for you at the Shaw Classic. We want you to win, none of those other losers. So
yeah, you guys should come. Are you coming?
We talked about we wanted to have a
some
booth actually this year.
Conflicts.
So we can't make it, but that is just like even though we're 6 hours from you or whatever it is, that's still a close drive for us. Right? You know, I mean, you know what it's like.
Drive, that's nothing.
Right.
Compared to the Arnold, right?
Right. It's like half as far. So we're excited about, we've had that on our radar this year and wanted to make it work and we can't, but hopefully that just continues to grow and hopefully we can be there next year because we want to set up at the expo and be there for it. And this year would be particularly cool to watch. I mean, you'll get to actually, I don't know what the schedule is like. Do you get to watch the men's kind of when you're there too, or
so we have one event each. So there's an open men's class too, aside from the pros.
Right.
So each of us have an event with the men. The women's will be on Sunday. We're doing sandbag throws with them. And then the open men will be doing stones with them actually on the first day. He usually at the stones are the very last event on day 2, right?
Yeah.
He's doing it on the first day, which is, I think, going to be a super interesting format. But the open classes compete in the morning and then the guys compete, the pro men compete in a little later in the afternoon. So I'll get to watch Bobby compete.
Yeah, that's cool. And you might already know this, but there's actually a Black Hills native man competing in the open class at the Shaw, I believe, too. Isn't big?
Oh, really?
Andrew Montoya, Tommy, is.
He competed last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be there. I think he qualified for it again. He's in it again this year, as far as I remember. So
yeah, I've met him a few times. He's a super guy.
Yeah. He's a big Massenomics supporter too, so we don't mind him either.
Well, you shouldn't, and he should be for all intents and purposes.
Yes. Okay. Well, this is really cool. I think people will enjoy this. And just for fun fact, we're on a real hot streak of having women on the show. You're third in a row, so we'll see how long we can keep this rolling now.
But the first South Dakota woman, right?
Oh,
the first ever, probably, right, Tommy? I don't know. Is the first South Dakota woman guest ever?
Yeah. There's no there's no one else who would have had. I'm trying to even think the only other South Dakota guest we've had would probably be Jonah Leo, probably, right?
Yeah, Jonah Leo. Would that be it?
That's all I can
I'm
think
honored
of
either way.
Yeah. So you're on a very short list of very
elite.
You're on the appropriately named, South Dakota Massenomics podcast Mount Rushmore.
Hell yeah. So. That's what we should. You guys should come out and visit. We'll do one from Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, someone should. I'm sure. I can't remember what it's like when you go up to Mount Rushmore, but you think there's any way you could sneak in a barbell and plates up there and get like a Jefferson deadlift, where you can see the Mount Rushmore in the background? Because that would be
probably
cool. Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't been there since I was in high school.
Our buddy Zane, his mom works there, so
we've got it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we might be able to
make
it happen.
You get the answer to the question, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, well, good luck. We'll be cheering for you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Cori.
See you later.
See ya. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Oh, getting quick with the trigger.
Yeah, you got her off and the cool
buttons
beans
over
given,
here. It's like, geez,
I'm
this
just
guy
sitting here
can hit multiple buttons at once.
I'm just trying to do everything I possibly can not to click the leave.
I hover over it every time. My brain always says like there's something I do wrong every time, and then I hover over the button. I'm like, nope, not that one. Every time.
And I'm like, I don't even need to click anything, and I still want to go click leave meeting there. It's like,
don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. All right. That was good.
Yes.
That was good. I don't know if we will keep the chocolate chip, the women guest streak rolling or not. We've got next week could be a particularly interesting guest if it pans out. I think if next week pans out,
we got something in the works. If you know what I'm saying.
We got something in the works that could be pretty fun here. So pretty timely. And I don't think if you took 100 guesses at who our guests could be next week, you wouldn't get it right in 100 guesses. So
I could give you 200, you'd still be wrong.
I honestly think that's true. I don't think if everyone guessed 200 times, they wouldn't get it right. But it could be a lot of if that pans out. That'll be
assuming it works out. Yes, it will be a lot of fun. So a little teaser.
Yeah. We talked about Jefferson deadlifts there. The Jefferson deadlift competition's been going off like crazy. I think we're getting close to 100 submissions so far.
I was catching a little bit of heat in the Discord because some people thought I was a no fun guy putting all these restrictions on everyone. And I gotta say,
it's really played out to our.
I gotta say,
really worked,
I think that people thrive. A few constraints is what really enhances creativity. And
I think you might be right.
It is 100%. If someone says, "Oh, go make me something awesome," I'm like, I see it in my job all the time. It's like,
of what?
Yeah, of what? Like so the world. There's infinite possibilities here.
Like what kind of awesome?
All of a sudden, you put a few constraints on, and you give a few rules, and how people can bend and twist those rules. Oh man, there's been some awesome things that I've seen so far.
Because I think that's true too. What people did is they're like, "Oh, this is my version of staying within those rules," and they're doing things I hadn't even thought of.
Yes,
of applying it to that, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what makes it good."
I was starting to think when people were raising a fuss about it that maybe we were too restricting here. Maybe we needed to leave it a little more open. But I love what I've seen so far. I think these are all amazing submissions.
And what the result is, part of it is we're getting the largest volume of submissions that we've had ever of any contest we've done before. And I think some of the best ones, they're right up there with the best.
The quality
of all time.
Across the board is so consistently high on all of them.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah, there's some really, it's going to be, we're picking the 3 random winners. That won't be hard for us. The heaviest as of now is the 806 by Big Josh. Is it right? We just also posted this week, the YouTube video this week was the top 10 Jefferson deadlifts of all time. And his is actually the most current. He just did it this week, 806 pounds. And I think that puts him in 4th. So that's looking like the heaviest, unless we've got until July 10th. So unless someone's going to come out of the woodwork here and pull something bigger than 806, but then what's really going to be hard is us picking our Massenomics favorite choice one.
Yeah, that's going to be. Luckily, there's going to be some random winners. So that'll
not all the pressures on it.
Yeah, that'll get a few people, keep a few more people happy. But yeah, it's. I always forget until this time comes that when we say we're going to pick one favorite, that's incredibly hard to do. There's
been a bunch of good ones, really a lot of
it's
really
almost
good
daily
ones.
Though. I think like, this is going to be really hard to beat. And then the next day comes and I think, God, this probably is better than the one I just saw. Like,
we haven't talked about it at all, but I've been keeping the list, and I do have a couple in mind that are really big. They're just so good. I'm like, my mental test is, would I feel good about not picking this as the winner? If I struggle with that, then I'm like, well, that's what then that one has to be in contention. Like, can I sleep at night knowing that this one isn't a winner? And if I kind of like, not really, then I know like, we got to talk about that one as a potential winner then. But there will be a few that it's like, unfortunately, that person does not get to win.
Yeah, and also you did an amazing video, and you're not going to get any credit really outside of maybe.
But they could still get a random winning spot,
Yeah, we'll probably give you a shout out too for just a job well done.
Right.
But yeah, like that has, I don't know, out of any contest we've done, just consistent quality across the board. This might take the cake on it,
Yes. One other mention, you were talking about the singlets before we had Big Cori on, and I would just say, we don't have that many singlets. We didn't order that many singlets. This is our first one, and sizing, just quantities are relatively limited, and we've already sold a decent number today in our first day for sale. So if you do want a singlet of one of our Massenomics singlets, this isn't just a sales tactic, but I would not wait to buy that. I would get that bought right away. Otherwise, you're going to have a meet in 2 months, and you're going to be like, oh, damn it, you're all out of 2Xs. And then I'll be like, hey, remember that time I said, like, buy the singlet now and don't wait 2 months from now because your size is going to be out? So that's why I would say buy it now.
And this is also sort of a different item for us, so it's not like an obvious reorder.
Right.
If we were to, if we just magically sold out of all of them in like the next couple of days, we'd probably put a reorder in.
Right.
But, that's also going to take a long time. But, also, we might, if these don't go super fast, these might not get reordered. So if you're on the fence, you probably are best just to order them and have it for that future meet.
Yep, for sure.
But no, that being said though, like for real, we are very impressed with the quality on these. Yeah. They turned out really good. Usually artwork wise, as the designer, there's something I can nitpick and I'm like, we were trying, like, I can't even really nitpick anything on this. It did turn out really good.
And a lot of the singlets we looked at and we've checked out over the years, a lot of them, the legs are too long, and we feel like we got something that has the right leg length.
Definitely not a problem here. It's hard to like give an inseam length when it's just pure spandex. It's not short, so you can pull and stretch things how you want. But I mean, I'd say these hit like mid thigh-ish or even shorter, depending on how tall you are.
The only thing I don't like about the singlets is that we weren't able to get 1 or 2 sizes bigger.
Yeah,
it's just we were maxed up. We got up to their biggest size available, and
3X was the biggest they went. Which I mean, powerlifting, we could probably sell a 5 and 6X.
Right.
But
I would for sure like to have a 4 of the based on the sizing, but is what it is. We got what we got.
Yep.
Are we gonna talk about threads then?
Maybe just. Because I think this will be a developing topic over the next few weeks here.
Whatever we say now will even be not all that relevant, probably 4 or 5 days. Threads came out today, didn't it?
I think it was
Wednesday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. I was going to say, I wasn't even aware of the name of this until yesterday. But yeah, I believe it was yesterday is when it launched.
Yeah. Was it a sneak attack launch, or did everyone know this was coming?
I don't think everyone knew, but I believe if you're paying attention that maybe there was like some leaks or some things that were hinting at there was this.
Because when Zuckerberg...
So what we're talking about here, though, it's called, if you did miss this, is a new social app called Threads, and it is essentially Meta / Facebook, Instagram's response to Twitter. And that's really all we know about it right now, because it is only I don't even know if it's a full 24 hours old yet. It is brand new.
Yeah.
It does seem to have, at least according to what news reports are saying, some momentum behind it as far as starting up goes, which does mean something, but
and there is officially a Massenomics thread, so
we got that locked up. You know what is one thing that is kind of interesting about this, and I haven't looked into this a whole lot either, but all these social networks, as far as the internet goes, are essentially like their own closed little walled gardens, and Threads is doing something called ActivityPub, which is, in a way, I mean, I'm going to just really oversimplify this metaphor, but in a way, it's treating your feed a little bit more like a web page in the way that it can interact with other things on the internet. It's not its own siloed little account that only exists in the app. There is ways for other services, apps, things to interact and work with that account across the internet. And it's this open standard, and it's called ActivityPub. So that is one thing that's slightly interesting and noteworthy about it. I'm curious to see how that does get embraced or what happens with that as time goes on. And nothing could happen with it, or maybe this is the dawn of something cool there. I don't know.
I couldn't possibly have wanted another social media app any less. I couldn't have possibly wanted there to exist another social media app any less. When I found out about this today, I'm like, no more. Stop it. And it is Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is Twitter. When you it even just feels like Twitter, and that's fine. Okay. Cause it's their competition to Twitter. Cause I get that.
Yeah.
I get, it's a different company. They're competing with.
It's almost
that
shocking
company.
it took them that long. They took on the Snapchat thing so fast.
Right. But it's funny when I listened to Zuckerberg on Lex Friedman's podcast, and they talked about old what's his name at Twitter, Tesla over there, Elon, and Mark. In hindsight, the comments he made, they talked about Twitter a decent bit, and I'm like, oh, at the time of him recording that, this was like a done deal. This had to have been 99% complete, if
it
not.
Was probably been in the works for over a year at that point.
Exactly, and just some of the comments about how he wasn't ragging on him, but just that they think they're missing the mark on Twitter a little bit. And now in hindsight, I'm like, oh yeah, well he's not. Yeah, he's saying that.
He's like, I haven't been coming for you. Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to come at you. Here.
So I get that, but the thing that annoys me more, it's not Meta competing with Twitter. It's the competition for the same. It's not competition, but it's the posting of the same shit on the two. If you look at Instagram and you look at Threads, because I go on there and I scan it a little bit, all the freaking, because you can just do a thing where you just follow all my Instagram follows or whatever.
Yep.
And it's it's also giving you random stuff from what I see, but I'm like, everyone's just posting their photos on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're posting. I'm like, we already have the freaking photo app.
Yep.
And it's I go on and it's.
And I think so. Yeah, I think yes.
And I'm like, why do we need another app to do the exact same thing?
Right. There's always going to be some of that. I do believe Threads has a 500 character limit. It's Twitter is what, 40 or whatever it is.
Okay.
I believe Threads has a 500 character limit. So, that's one potential thing to look at there that, there's a ton of people that they put their passion into their posts on Instagram, their captions on Instagram. Like 500 characters is not a ton. So that changes that a little bit. But yeah, it is interesting how it's just like, no, we've decided like there's like a photo social thing. There's a short text social thing. And then there's like a video social thing. And then there's also like a micro
all
video.
of them on all like
and
you can post all of those on Facebook, you can post all of those on Instagram, and you can post all of those on Threads.
Well, I know, and it's like so we have like the 5 kind of ways we've decided a social network should work, but they all do all of them sort of have the same thing. It's like
you can do all like on Facebook. That's called a status. Like that's what like on Facebook when you just type words.
I guess I would say like there's nothing wrong with it, but they're all just the same to me. Is what I'd say, Tanner. That's just all I'd say. I'd leave it at that. You can like it, but they're all just the same to me.
That's actually kind of the root of the argument I'm even making there. If you really think about it, that is what I'm saying, that they're all the same.
And then like someone that's into it be like, and there's definitely people that are listening to this that are really into
crazy?
certain things and like, no, they are not all the same thing.
But really, I'm like, what is it? So it's like they make it real easy to move from Instagram to Threads, and like you just follow all your people, and you even copy your bio. You're like, yep, do my same bio, do my same profiles, follow the same people. And like I'm thinking, as I'm doing it, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I made my thing the exact same bio. I made my thing follow the exact same people. I go to scroll through it, and I'm like, Steffi Cohn's picture of her doing this, and I'm like, it is the same stuff. It is,
and I think some of that is
presented slightly differently.
And I think some of that is it is so new that people are figuring out.
Right.
It's going to take a little time for people to figure out. Like, I think if you probably looked at stories on Instagram now versus like stories on Instagram the first week it existed, it's probably
a lot different.
whole different ballgame,
Yeah.
because they will be adding all types of new features and things as time goes on. And
but I'm like, why don't they just make one really good one where I guess people
question,
might want to
though.
digest it differently.
I
or
think
I don't
it is
know.
just the expectation of what am I going in? Like, am I heading into something like YouTube is the easiest one to differentiate. Like for the most part, if you're going to YouTube, you're watching long form videos. And when I say long form, I'm saying like more than a minute or two.
But they added shorts, of course.
Yeah,
and,
but like I don't.
And people can do. You can just do like a text thing.
You can,
that shows
but
up
that's such
your
like just a fringe part of it. Like for the most part, though, it's like you need long form video. YouTube's got that covered. If you want to share photos, Instagram basically has that covered. Like
used to be, at least.
Yeah, it used to be. Yes. If you want to,
it's still the one you would use for that, but
yeah. But if you want to do like the quick videos, you do it on TikTok and then you put it on everywhere else too. And then like Facebook is just the old thing that has to exist forever. And I guess Threads and Twitter are like the text first things that can kind of sort of do other multimedia stuff.
That's what I almost feel like. I'm like, maybe you could have made it where you can't like post your pictures and videos and stuff too. Like, but then it's like, it's limiting and people don't like it as much. But I'm like, I almost just don't like that everyone's posting their same images on there.
I know that does ruin it a little. But yeah, they have to have, like, I mean, if they didn't have that, people
then people would be like, I don't want to use this. I want to,
it's not going to happen. But I think Twitter is that, it's one of the few social networks that gets treated as like a source in the news for stuff. Right. Where people can put things out.
Right.
And so the idea that...
Do you think Threads will take that over then? Or?
Well, I don't know. But, I mean, that's definitely what they're gunning for, is like, so-and-so, I don't even know what the hell's a post on Threads called. What,
I don't know, a thread.
I mean, is it though? Like, is that?
I don't know. I don't know, actually.
I mean, everything has those names. So it's like, so-and-so tweeted today. Like, are they going to say so-and-so was threading today? Like, I don't know what those words are, what their vocabulary is there, but I'm sure that's where they'd love to be, is where they're brought up on.
So do you think Threads and Twitter can both exist long term, or will it eventually, like, will there only be one of them?
Well, I mean, there's nothing stopping them from existing. It just does one start to become an enormous money. Like, I think Twitter has always been an enormous money pit. Right. It's just like,
does somebody still want to continue to like fund the money pit?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure. And also the fact that I am
not a favor of more social networks in general.
Yeah. The fact that I don't use those networks already makes me much more or less qualified to even comment on them. But it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah.
This
and if not for Massenomics, I wouldn't even.
Yeah,
I would just
right.
not.
Like,
but
why?
I'm just like, well, what if it's important for the company and we don't have, you know, and like,
well, it's funny.
What if it's like every other social media and you have to have it right away in order to gain a following, and if you don't get it right away, you're at this forever uphill battle catching up to the people that had it right away.
Like a couple of years from now, this conversation could be like, wow, they were talking about Threads. Yeah, add that to the list of Google Plus and MySpace and other stuff. Like,
right.
Like,
or
they're like, wow.
It could be like, oh, they were dogging that their most important thing.
They didn't even know what these posts were called on here. Like, it sounds like
Right.
old people talking about the internet for the first time. Like, that could go two different ways there, and it'll be very.
Neither one of them seems crazy neither one of them's a wild thought. It could literally be either of those things.
And I mean, it could also kind of like float in no man's land. But as easy as it is to hate on Facebook, it's hard to bet against. I should say Meta. It's hard to bet against them because Facebook has just become this monolith of just social network that exists forever. Instagram is absolutely enormous. WhatsApp is absolutely enormous. What else do they even have? I don't know. Oculus is one of the leaders in VR stuff. Like, yeah. I mean, I hate Meta as much as most people, maybe even more. Like, they are annoying and they suck, but they also seem to be good at making social networks work. I'm using like that, like work as far as modern standards go for what it is to keep a social network.
They get a lot
going.
of people to use them.
Yeah. I mean, they're good at that. Like, they're good at getting people into their products, which is the hardest part of most products.
Yeah.
So Threads. Can't wait to see how this conversation ages.
Yeah, probably just literally by next week it'll be.
It might be so different.
Yeah.
Oh man, a week ago I can't believe I was wasting my time on Instagram.
Very smart on their part though, how they have made it so it's so easy to convert over. That's probably a big part of why it's
100%. You're not
doing
even
what it's doing right now.
You're basically hitting a few buttons. You're not even like signing up for anything new. It's just I'm here. Go.
Yeah. Anything else we need to hit on this week that's particularly...
I got a comment. I met up with a buddy about a week ago, and
a bragger. Got friends or something?
Yeah, exactly. You notice I said a buddy, like I have multiple buddies, you know, not just my
one of my many
buddy.
friends. You know, before you tell the story, I just thought of it and I don't want to forget it. I meant to lead off the show with this. Be like, oh, so Tommy, you still got all your fingers after this weekend?
4th of July.
Yeah, that's a very popular dad. Like, oh, you still got all your fingers attached to you?
I did see, I think it was on Instagram. It was like, you know, someone doesn't know, but this is their last day with all 10 fingers. It's like, yeah, that is very true. That is the 4th of July for you.
Yep.
But yes, I still do have all 10 right now. But I did meet up with a buddy like a week ago, and he was driving a certain car. I've become a bit of a car guy over the last few years, Tanner.
I don't know. They're all the same to me.
I know. Yeah. There's like the big ones and there's the little ones, and you know that's cars.
Kind of all the same to me, really. Is the car has got 4 tires and an engine.
But I've become much more of a car guy over the past few years, and my buddy had it was not his. It's kind of like a weird work thing. Kind of a company car of sorts.
Okay.
But his car he was driving is it's a BMW X3 M competition. So it's X3 is their little crossover, just like the generic.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
So this is a small SUV.
It's a small SUV. I mean, it's smaller than a lot of cars. You know, it's just a tiny little SUV.
Yeah.
So that's what the X3 part is. The M, anything like performance for BMW, that's their M Motorsport division. So M means it's high performance, and then competition means it's the high performance one. So this little tiny crossover has a 8-cylinder. It's a V8, 500 horsepower in this thing. Like this thing is like fast, and I'm kind of like, I watch YouTube videos and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, it has this and this and this, and my buddy's like, I don't know, I just drive the car, I don't know a thing about it. And I'm like, oh, it has all these modes, and he's like, yeah, I've never even touched any of them, and he's like, oh yeah, here's sport mode here. There's a track mode too. I don't even know how to get it into track mode. Like he's like, here's sport mode. Do you want to drive it? I'm like, sure, okay. And I've for a person that likes cars, I'm also very, very cheap. So I have like almost no desire to spend a lot of money on cars.
Well, you have a car.
I do have a car, not a fun car in any way. And then also there's not a ton of people that I know. I don't really know anyone that has a fun car. I mean,
we know Nick from Live Large.
Yeah, I mean, I don't count him. He's in a whole different world. He literally, I don't know if you caught this. He literally had on his story. It was at his house. And if I had to guess, there was probably 12 McLarens, like 4 Lamborghinis, a couple Porsches, and then some other random vehicles at his house. I'm like, in front of your house right now is, I don't know,
like $10 million.
Probably $10 million worth of cars. Like, it is absolutely insane. But yeah, he lives in a different world. But in our part of the country, it's not exactly the easiest area for car enthusiasts, being that,
well,
9 months of the year.
9
months of the year, it's hostile to have your car out.
Right.
So I haven't been
almost undrivable.
Yes, I haven't been in much for fast cars, but I did get in this thing, and I had to look up online. According to like Car and Drive or whatever, the 0 to 60 on this car is like 3.2 seconds, which is a really fast car. And man, I've never had that sensation of driving a vehicle where you can just like put your foot down and it's just like unlimited go. Like it's just like you get going 85 so fast, like it's just nothing. And whether it's from a standstill or whether you're going 30 and you're getting onto like the on-ramp on the interstate, it's just like, it's insane. It was quite the sensation. And
how much do you think that vehicle costs?
I think new they're like
expensive, particularly.
I mean, I think new they're like mid 80, like 85 ish.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, you're also getting a tiny little BMW crossover for 80 some thousand. Like it's a very unassuming vehicle. Like if you told someone you paid that much for it, they'd be like, really? Like
for why?
That yeah. But yeah, it was
all
cool.
Look the same.
It was. Oh, sorry.
Crossover. They all look the same.
Yeah,
to
and
me.
this is not a V8. It is a straight 6. It's a turbocharged straight 6 engine. Yeah, that's what it is. I thought that was sounding wrong when I said that out loud. But 500 horsepower. Yeah, it was nuts. It was really cool, and it did make me be like, oh, I knew when I got home and told my wife, she's gonna be like, oh, really? You're gonna be telling me all about this car?
Right.
Now I got to hear more about this, and it made me think like, maybe I do need to get a nice car. But I'm like, no, also they just can't be driving around like flooring it all day, every day. Like the speeding tickets would be a problem there. It was like when you said, did your cousin have like a C7 Corvette? And you said it was the most insane thing.
It really was. And I don't know the models very well, but it was a good, it was a cool, it was a desirable model of that car.
Like the trim and everything you're saying, right? Yeah.
Right. And, you feel really cool driving it. Like people can't help but it's like, I mean, it's a head turning car would be what if it drives by, you're like have to look at it because it's so, they're not typical. But also when you drive it, like that didn't even feel like driving a normal car. Like it's almost just unsafe at all times. What's the book? Unsafe at Any Speed is not related to actual car. It's who is that guy?
I don't know.
Who wrote Unsafe at Any Speed? This isn't really relevant in the way I'm thinking of it, but it just
Ralph Nader.
Yeah, Ralph Nader. Okay. Unsafe at Any Speed, but that was talking about what car was that? The Corvair, unsafe at any speed. And like, I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is all about like consumer. He's like it's like looking out for the consumer.
Yeah, well, he's talking about, it says that Ralph Nader, he published his book in 1965 about how car manufacturers were resisting
I think it's about like
features.
where the gas station or the gas tank is in the car, how it's just extremely dangerous. They were blowing up in fender benders and stuff like that. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying about the Corvette, it's like unsafe at any speed. Like it's almost impossible to drive that safely because you always just want to go like, you're like, oh, nobody around. I'm going to go to 100 as fast as I can right now. And like, it's just like, you can't drive that car. Like it's not fun to just like barely, like you can't
like
help
this
but
car
go
that has
too
unlimited
fast.
power and be like, all right, keep this in the speed limit.
Like, no, why? What would it be for? Like, what is it for otherwise?
Yeah, I totally got that after driving this car when even like the arterial side roads where the speed limit's like 45 and you're just like, well, I can get there in like a second. So what do I do?
Like, why wouldn't I just go 90?
Yeah, what do I do with the rest of my time here? Like there's all this power just waiting for me.
Right.
It feels like wrong to not be utilizing it. So I can really see how that would be.
Oh, I
very
think
addicting to have a fast car.
I think having a cool car would be really fun. It's just I actually don't have the mentality that those are all the same. I think that cool cars are cool, and I think that would be fun.
Yeah,
it's just tough, like, of justification of it, because some of them are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then B, it's the storage and the maintenance of an automobile.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's like not just the cost of an automobile; it's also the maintenance of an automobile.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, especially when you start talking about like
yeah.
imports of any kind, where it's a whole other level. Like that's why, like I said, if we were moving to Sioux Falls, like I had it so hard on my list. Like I think I'm gonna get a C5 Corvette. Like it's cheap. Parts are plentiful,
relatively speaking.
Yeah. Everyone knows how to work on them. It's just like a
reliable engine-wise.
Yeah, it's reliable. It's just like a dumb, fun car that you can go anywhere. Yeah. It's not so you don't have to baby it like so hard that you got to be afraid of everything. I still think that would be a really fun first relatively cheap sports car.
I like Corvettes also too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, some people either maybe it's a like them or hate them, but I like Corvettes. But the other thing, even if you don't spend that much money on it, there's maybe maintenance stuff like that. But also you're like, well, I really want to store this inside now.
Oh God,
too. And
yeah, yes,
you're
absolutely.
So you have to have it needs a garage stall or it needs, even if you're not buying $100,000 brand new one, you're still like, well, I don't want to just leave this thing outside to rot.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, especially around here, you don't leave the fun car outside all the time because that's just unless you're buying like a shitty but that doesn't even exist. Like shitty cheap cars aren't really a thing anymore. So you can't even hardly use that argument. Yeah, it's hard to justify. It's someday. I don't know when. Someday though.
You're gonna get that, and I'm gonna get that pair of sneakers someday. I'm gonna get a cool pair of sneakers someday. Everyone's got to have some goals.
Yeah. You got to have something that wakes you up in the morning. Right? Yeah. Gets you to roll out of bed.
Me, someday I could get a cool pair of retro sneakers.
Get those Shacknosis, and then you might as well just retire. You're done working.
I don't know in Unpaid and Underrated, they were talking about the specialty spiral, where I don't know if you saw any of that conversation, but where Big Murph actually brought it up when she was the guest, and where these items in your life, you don't use them, or you only use them for the most special occasions because they're special. Mm-hmm. And the less you use them, the more special they get. Mm-hmm. And the less you want to use them. And then is that good? Because if these things bring you joy and you refuse to use them because they become so special to you that you're like, no, I can't use that. I don't want to use up the utility of that item and not be able to use it again, or you know what I mean?
That's an
I definitely fall into that trap.
That's an extremely,
I would be like that with the sneakers.
Mm-hmm. It's an extremely interesting phenomenon, and the classic example of that is old people with the furniture protectors on. It's like, absolutely. You don't want to ruin the furniture, so you have this protector on it its entire life, but you never actually really use the furniture. You never got to feel the suede or the cloth or anything. Right. So what are you doing? You're just saving it for the next person. And then all of a sudden this furniture is 25 years old and it's in really nice condition, but it's awful. Nobody wants it. It's old. Yeah. So that's gross furniture. There's I believe the show was called, was it How To with John? It's something on HBO. I told you to watch it.
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
How To is John Wilson or whatever, but he has a whole episode that's about this, about people trying to preserve things.
Yeah.
And
that's a good show.
Yes, it was. It was. And his thing, he did show, he had people that had their furniture protector on since 1985. They're like, look at this couch. It still looks brand new. And he's like, well, have you ever sat on the actual couch before? And the person's like, no, I've never sat on it. And it's like, so you've had this couch for 30 plus years and you've never actually sat. Either way, it's a really interesting episode. He covers a lot of different scenarios like that. And then in the end, he goes, maybe, wear marks and a few blemishes and cracks and things, maybe that's,
I do remember, I did see that one. At the end, there's
and he's like, maybe that's the sign of a life well lived. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. There is some value in that. Not keeping everything perfect. Actually using the damn thing is worth something, And so I've tried to be, I am, because I 100% guilt. For me, it used to be with shoes.
I'm guilty of it.
I wasn't even buying expensive shoes, and I was just so I gotta be so careful where I'm standing. I can't get these dirty. And now I do like to take good care of my stuff. It makes me feel good to have things clean and just maintained well and nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've tried to now just loosen up a little more. Like, just enjoy
Yeah.
the thing, use it. Like don't let it own. Don't let the thing own you in the way that you got to keep it, maintain it perfectly.
Right. Yeah, because the argument is then like, are you not bringing yourself joy by not ever using it? Then,
well, and it's like, well, what do you say? Are you saving it for? Like the cars is the great example of like Corvettes, especially. These old guys get their Corvettes and just
sits in the
baby
garage,
it. Just it's like, so are you saving it for the next guy to enjoy it? Like
right.
Like I mean, someday you're going to sell that, and so you're going to sell this. Is the idea to just get more money out of it, or like, oh, look how great it is, then the next guy's going to get and trash it,
Yeah, but it's funny too, because then it's like, well, to some people, that might be actually what's bringing them happiness. So when you think about it, it's like them not using it is what's making them
some
happy.
People that is the hobby. The hobby is just like the collecting part, like just having the item, not necessarily using the item. It's the hobby is the collection, right? And then once you've acquired it, you're fulfilling your hobby part. That's for other people. It's like, well, acquiring the item and having it is just a means to actually being able to use it. But it is just the spectrum of how people view and look at objects. And also the same people could be different on completely different things. Like there are some people that were, they'll baby and be pristine with a car and then not care about anything else. Or, guys with motorcycles a lot too. That's the other one. They're sitting and polishing their motorcycle, and then they're a slob with everything else. And then you get the people that are like, oh no, they like ride, they're hard on their equipment, whatever they got, but then they are super anal about their yard. Like everyone has their own little thing that they do that with.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Interesting.
It's all kind of looks the same to me, I guess.
They're basically all the same. And yes, me, really. You know what's not all the same though?
What?
Our good friends over at the Strength Co. And I'm going to let me clear my voice for this one.
Let me clear my throat.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
Strength Co. Check them out at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic booth.
Is next week technically our pre-show to the...
Oh. Let me see.
Better get our dates. Better get our dates in line here.
Really, it is.
Wow, that seems insane, doesn't it?
Yeah, insane in the brain.
Wow. We'll have to
insane
make sure
in the
to
membrane.
We'll have to make sure to actually remember to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
then, won't we?
That's a good point.
Okay, today's episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Swiss military rangefinders to Italian police tracksuits. SwissLink.com is also home to the SwissLink Classic Wool Blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a soft, luxurious feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. The designs are reminiscent of brands that rhyme with Schwendelton and Schwedson Bay, but are available at only a fraction of the cost. SwissLink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service distinguishes them from the competition. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering the code MASS at checkout. That's MASS at SwissLink.com to save 15%. Thank you, SwissLink.
Thanks, SwissLink. Thanks for sponsoring the show. We couldn't do it without all of you awesome sponsors.
Without every one of you.
Is that it, Tommy? We got that Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic coming up soon for anyone that forgot.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be talking about that a lot next week. And you're also going to be seeing a lot of that spread across all of the social networks that exist now and any new ones between now and then over the coming weeks.
You're going to see some serious threads on that for sure. There's going to be some running threads, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we're going to pull that thread, see where that takes us. And also, make sure to be checking out the YouTube channel. New videos every single week. And a little teaser here, but I think it's safe to say if you're participating in the meet in any way, there's a good chance you could be in a Massenomics YouTube video coming up shortly here.
Could be in more than one, depending on how that all plays out.
Let's just say there's going to be a lot of content going on in about 2 weeks here.
Going to be a big content machine, so to speak. Bouncing out of that one. Yeah, we have not missed a week yet of the YouTube videos, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we're getting just paid insane amounts of money like we do from Google, from YouTube, the checks that they're handing us are insane. And someone should talk to their legal department.
We're going to have to do a YouTube video about all the money we make on YouTube. That's eventually what you get to do.
See, the funny part is it's going to be a really quick video.
Like, we don't get any. Yeah. We maybe get some in back channels that are impossible to measure.
Yeah, but not through AdSense in the traditional way. Like everybody. I mean, we don't even have our channel monetized. We don't even have ads on our video.
No.
Which doesn't. I mean, why would we put them on?
We're not getting enough views. For it to make a difference. Is the honest truth.
Yeah, if we start getting in the tens of thousands, then that's a conversation to have. But as of right now,
well, for now, we won't make you watch ads.
Yeah, so we can collect a $1 check every month.
Yeah. Check it out. Check out our singlet for sale. Jefferson deadlift tee. There's still some of those available in some sizes, and then our grunge lift tank top. I was wearing mine the other day. I really like the way that tank top came out. Even better. It's our best tank top ever. So if you don't have that tank top yet for Crispy Boy Summer, you're a big dumb poo-poo head if you don't have that grunge lift tank top is what I would say. And that's putting it nicely, calling you a dumb poo-poo head. Let's bring it on in. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.